Yo, 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 what's up, Sooner fans? This is your host, Jeremiah Hall, formerly number 27 on the field, but always number one in your hearts. Here with me today, you know who it is, number 9 on the field, our captain and fearless leader, the Brayden Weight Room Willie Willis. And this is the podcast on the prairie. Brayden?
Jay?
I was debating on whether putting QB Willie in there or not, but I don't know. I didn't feel like it was appropriate to switch things up yet. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we normally do an intro, but this episode I was like, you know what, we might as well just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and like get things pushing along. So without wasting any time, we're just gonna get straight into the content we all want to hear about. I decided personally not to ask Brayden any questions before we got on. So this conversation is truly raw this time around. Not that it normally isn't, but I felt like this one should be a little bit more direct from the MVP himself, I think, on the offensive side of the football.
Before we get into the show, this episode of the pod is presented by Plainview Legal Group. For the last couple of weeks, you've heard us talk all about Plainview Legal and their expertise in property law and protecting land rights of the people of Oklahoma. Well, they are way more than even that.
Plainview Legal Group also handles estate planning and probate, from simple wills to proving undue influence. Additionally, their attorneys negotiate, draft, review, and litigate all kinds of commercial contracts for individuals and businesses across various industries throughout Oklahoma.
Haley and Travis Dennis are kind of like dual threat quarterbacks. You know, they're cool, calm, and collected in very, very tricky situations.
OU has produced dual threat quarterbacks like Kyler, Jay Hurts, and we could even throw in Baker. They also produce dual threat lawyers, Haley and Travis Dennis. They are both OU alums and have 5 degrees between them.
To schedule your free consultation, visit their website at www.plainviewlegal.com or give them a call at 405-310-0183 or even email them at info@plainviewlegal.com.
Big thanks to our presenting sponsor, Plainview Legal Group. Clarity when you need it. Please see show notes for disclaimer information. Anyways, it's a team sport, Brayden. So I know, yes, this weekend was a lot, right? So it would be unfair for me to even ask you, what do you think? Because I'm sure you think a lot. But just going from the beginning of the day, I know you want to move on. I know you want to put it in the past, and I know you guys have probably already talked about it all day today. But just tell me a little bit of how you felt pregame. What was the atmosphere like? Just let the fans know what all was going on down there.
Yeah, man. You know, the Texas game atmosphere, man. It's unlike anything, like I said, you'll ever play in, man. And it never fails, to live up to that hype. And the atmosphere was there. A couple of episodes ago, I told you, when you're a captain, walking out that tunnel kind of feels a little bit different, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm glad I got to get that experience to be, a captain for that game, in a city where I went to church literally 4 minutes away from that stadium, 4 or 5 minutes away from that stadium, literally, right around the corner from that stadium. I have family over there. My mom's from Dallas, So, in a game of that magnitude, in a game that means, so much to me, it was a blessing to be able to be captain in that game and, go out there and go to the 50 and all that, man. It's a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? That's what all this work that we do, for years upon years, this is what we hope, it pays off to, so I was extremely happy, about that. And like I said, man, the atmosphere was great, man. I was feeling great. I felt good. And yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about how it felt specifically when you were walking from the sideline to the middle of the field, because I saw you there in the front, and you were the speaking captain, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they did the same thing with me last year, and I remember being in that position, looking around like this isn't real. Like there is no way that 10 human beings get to be surrounded by over 95,000 people.
Right.
Like it doesn't even feel like you deserve to be there. Like like I don't even like what. Tell me what you think about it, because I'm speechless even when I think about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's exactly what you said, man. It almost feels like in that moment, and I will tell you, I had a couple moments like that during that game, but it does feel like in that moment, almost like, man, what did I do to deserve here? Like, I'm not really supposed to be here, man. You know, this is a blessing. You know, all thanks,
Yeah.
you know, to my Lord and my Savior. You know, because like, man, it's just it's kind of surreal. You know, so. Like you said, though, it just almost feels fake in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's just really weird, and it's a type of feeling that you couldn't really describe to someone that hasn't been in it. You know, you can describe it to someone, and you could give them a kind of feel, but they'll never truly know how that feels until they actually do it.
All right.
And then if someone, you know, you were to describe that to someone,
They wouldn't even understand.
Were to go through it. They would go through it for themselves. They'd be like, whoa, like, I know you tried to describe it the best you can, but like, that was like totally different. You know what I'm saying? But they'll be like, I feel you though. I don't know how to explain it myself, but you know.
Yeah. I remember watching you walk out in the front, and I was sitting there like, just, man, like I felt so grateful to see you out there and know that I could do the same thing. Because while I was watching you, like, yeah, I was watching you as my friend, but I was also watching you as a player in a sense. Like, for a second, I didn't even know you. And when I looked out there, I was like, yo, like, that number 9 looks locked in. And then in the back of my head, I'm like having a conversation with myself. I'm like, yo, like, that was just you.
Yeah.
So watching you, I admired you, especially pregame, because this whole year, like, whenever I look at you, especially like the big plays you make and those type of moments, I'm like, man, like, there's me out there. So moving on to the game, I'm not going to ask you about each individual series or anything like that, but let's focus on your perspective, bro, because I don't know if you've seen on social media, a lot of people have been low key, like, just giving you your props. Like, we all saw the effort that you put into this game, bro. Like, I know as a captain and as an old head, like, you're probably gonna be like, yeah, like. Oh, okay. What was that?
That's kind of cool,
Alex with the dramatic effect there. But I know you're probably gonna be like, yeah, you know, like, like, you did your thing, but we didn't win, and we got to be better. But bro, like, I wouldn't be a good friend. I wouldn't be even better. I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't give you your flowers and say, like, bro, you played a hell of a game, and we all saw it. So you don't even have to respond. Like, we all know what you're about to say. So when you let's just skip to the part when you started running the Wildcat, because I made the tweet. I was like, I am speechless. And then later on in the day, people started referencing the game and the outcome of the game. But when I made that tweet, I was talking about you, because we didn't talk about this. I got people in the stands like, yo, J Hall, did you know anything about this? Alex is texting me like, what is going on? People trying to call. I'm like, bro, I don't have the answers, guys. Like, I'm not asking this kid for the call sheet every single week, you know? So matter of fact, I'll tell you my perspective real quick, right? So I was in line. I think Texas had just scored. So I wanted I'm trying to remember. I wanted to go to the bathroom and come back up really quick. And then I got out the bathroom. My friend was like, J Hall, will you wait in line with me for some waters? reluctantly, I was like, yeah, sure, I guess. But I was watching the game through the TV, and next thing you know, the crowd starts roaring. I look up, I see you running the ball. I missed the initial part of the play, and then I run out into the stadium. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And then people around me are like, Jay Hall, and I'm like, what is going on? Then I see you back there again. I'm like, this can't be real. Like, what's going on? So what did you? I'm completely jealous because I never got that opportunity the entire year, let alone in the freaking Cotton Bowl, bro. So I guess you being at QB in high school was a real thing. I never believed it, but I damn sure do now. Like, bro, what were you thinking? What was going on?
Yeah, man. It was like, okay, you know how we were saying the coin toss was one of those surreal moments?
Yeah.
The other surreal moment for me that almost felt fake was being a quarterback in the Cotton Bowl. There was one time
I can imagine.
there was one time I was standing back there, and
Yeah.
or we were this is what wasn't even like the first drive or nothing like this. This was just a random drive that we had went into it. And you know, the crowd was at our back, or the Texas crowd. We were on the Texas side of the field. The crowd was on my back, and it was rocking. I mean, they were loud. And I'm over there having to give the calls to the linemen, make sure they heard it, everything like that. And I would go get back, and I'm about to snap the ball. And for a split second, I'm like, wow, I'm really playing quarterback right now. And then I snapped the ball. Like, it was crazy. Like, you know, but that, you know, that's kind of what went on through my head. And like you said, you know what I'm going to say. I wish I could have did more. You know, I wish I could have been a better leader and, you know, all that other stuff. But I will say that was a surreal moment, and I don't think I'll ever forget that moment, you know.
No, I won't let you forget. I will talk about it till the day that you die, until as long as I can. I'll tell the story about how I jumped over somebody in the Texas game, and then you'll be right there next to me, and then you'll be like, "But did you play quarterback though?" And I'll be like, "No, Brayden," and you'll never let me live it down. So yeah, I'll make sure that this story is continued for the ages, even regardless of the outcome. So that was super cool to see. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, from a fan's point of view, I think y'all had gone down a touchdown or two before y'all did that.
We were down a touchdown because the first drive we went regular. We didn't score. Defense got a 3-and-out, or not 3-and-out, but they got a turnover on downs. They punted.
Yeah.
We got the ball. We didn't score the first drive. Then they went down and scored the second drive. And so the second drive, we were, you know, going down trying to score.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was a smart move, honestly, because if you know you are at a disadvantage with any position, you have to find a way to get the best players the ball to win the game. Like, that is the only chance you get. And I remember, I know I talk about Lincoln a lot. I don't know if our listeners can tell. I still somewhat admire Lincoln, although whatever. I know I'm talking about the past year, but these are some key things that I picked away. Lincoln would not always, but he would try and, you know, create small plays that would allow his players to get the ball in space and just let them do what they do, right? So a prime example would be, what was the name of the play? But basically, when we had Hollywood Brown run down the line of scrimmage, and all the receivers would either run verticals or go block for him, right? That was just a basic play to get our best player the ball. You know, it didn't take much. So when I saw Lebby actually take the chance and switch things up, I'm like, yo, like, why not? You know, from my perspective, you know, we're what, 3-2. You know, we have a guy who knows the offense, who's trustworthy, who can carry the ball, who sees the field well. Why not? You know, I like the Wildcat. Honestly, I think we should have stuck with it. You know, I don't know how you feel, and I never want to speak for you, but I think we should have just kept you back there the entire game. Like, I think if I could go back and change some things offensively, not necessarily play calling. I like the play calling. Like you guys ran it all the way down the field. You stuck with what worked for the most part. Honestly, although we were down early on, I was like, y'all had no reason to have your head down because you had drove down the field like 2 or 3 times. You know, you take away the interception.
In the first half, I never felt down. We
Yeah,
were down 21-0, and I'm over there on the sideline spazzing because at this point it really should be like 14-7 us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't even feel like we were down 21-0 because we had moved the ball so effortlessly down the field, 2 out of the first 3 drives.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's disappointing, and I agree with you. I mean, I'm never gonna, single out a play caller or a coach or nothing like that. And I have nothing bad to say about my coaches. I love my coaches dearly, and I would do anything for them. But I do wish that they would have let me like lay it all out there on the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I would have left it all out there on that field. And I think anybody that knows me truly knows that I really would have. You know what I'm saying? I would have left it all out there. Anybody that knows me truly knows that I like it might be dramatic, but shit, I die on that field. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I
just wish that I had more of a room to impact the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's especially in that game. Like I said, it hurts. I don't like losing at all. I absolutely hate losing. Like, anybody in my family knows this. Like, when I lose, don't text me, don't call me, don't nothing me. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be around nobody. I am a horrible, like, sore loser. I'm the worst loser ever. I hate losing. Like, I hate losing more than I like winning. You know what I'm saying? I win, okay, cool, but at least I didn't lose. You know what I'm saying? I lose, and it messes up my whole week. And so that being said, on top of losing to them folks, and in the fashion that we did,
I feel you.
It hurts.
I know.
It hurts.
I can't even say I know. I can. And
in my last one too, after the game, I just kind of just stood out there, watched them celebrate, run around the field like that should have been me, see them, get the gold hat and everything like that. I was like, just kind of took it in for, kind of took in a moment because that was like my last one, so it hurt, but on to the next one. We got a ranked opponent coming in here this week, I guess, at this point. And, they're a good team and they're going to require our best as well, you know what I'm saying, to get back on the right path. So, like we always say, can't unscramble scrambled eggs and, got to move on.
I don't think any coach goes into a game honestly thinking about these situations. Like I think most coaches are like most players, right? You prepare as much as you can, but you never expect to be put in a situation such as the one that you guys placed this weekend where absolutely nothing is going your way, because normally you expect some type of quality loss at the minimum. And like you said, I don't want the fans to confuse the fact that you wish you could have just rolled out at quarterback the rest of the play. Because honestly, I think the rest of the fans, well, in terms of a selfish way, that you don't have faith in your coach's play calling. Yeah, like as a player, like it could have been like that. There is always something that I wish I could have done more. I look back at the Oklahoma State game last year. I'm like, I wish I could have been running the football. Everybody wishes, especially as a player, that they could have done more at some point because a loss never hurts. To add on to the game, if there were 2 things, like I said, I wish you got the ball a little bit more, and I wish you guys got Marvin in the mix a little bit more. I could tell that he was frustrated because he was open downfield a decent amount of times, and it's hard, man. It's hard to just magically make one happen, you know, especially when you're dealing with a quarterback who's not experienced in the system and is likely nervous. You know, there could be a whole lot of excuses, but my main thing is to say, Marvin Mims is, man, I wish I could have saw a little bit more of him, but I won't drag on that much more. Honestly, I don't even want to talk about the negatives of the game. Like I'll leave that up to everyone else on social media, because if you're listening to our podcast for a solution, then you're listening to the wrong podcast. You know, I'll break things down. You know, I could even do a bullfrog breakdown, but for me to tell you exactly what all is going on in that building, you know, nobody has the right answer for that. Brayden can't magically come up with something that'll make you feel better about a team that, honestly, we're fans, but we don't play for. So let's let the system figure it out, as they were hired to do. You know, they weren't only hired as football coaches, but they were hired to raise young men. They were hired to perform well as a program. And while I get it, we all want things to be perfect and dandy. It's not always that way. So what I think we can do from a fan's perspective is be grateful and support our young men, you know, because now more than ever, it is important to look at Brayden. It is important to look at the rest of the guys as people. Let's not forget, these are people. So people see tweets. People see the words that you put on social media. People can feel the vibe that you're putting out there, and that affects people's day. That affects people's emotions. That affects how they perform on the field. That affects their grades. So although it was bad, let's not forget, these are 18 to 22 years old. And I promise you, they did not want to put up a goose egg yesterday. I can get Brayden. You thought you guys would at least score yesterday, right? At minimum.
Yeah, man. I mean,
yeah. It's not like you go out there. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Brayden himself is expecting at least one touchdown for himself a game, you know, let alone the team. Am I wrong, Brayden?
I'm expecting to win every time I touch the field, you know,
exactly.
And whatever I have to do that, if that means I got to score 4 times a game, like, if it comes down to that, then yeah. But yeah, no, absolutely. Nobody goes out there and just lays down. That's not what we're about. You know, that's never, like, you know, I've seen a lot of that. And I think that is so far from the truth. Like, we didn't go out there and lay down, you know what I'm saying? And then if you go back and look at it, man, you know, I went back and watched the game, and boy, it'd be hard to watch these games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And but I went back and watched it a little bit, and you know, it's funny, we say the same thing every week, right? And there's a couple plays in this game where if we make, you know what I'm saying, the 4th and 1, you know what I'm saying, the 3rd and 1, you know, we're on the 15-yard line, and that conversion, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's little plays we make. If we make those plays, you know what I'm saying, the 2 out of the 3 drives of the first, you know, drives, we're talking about a completely different ball game. Momentum shifted. Defense has some energy, some life, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we're talking about a whole different ball game. We're talking about a dogfight at that point, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it like you said, I don't have the answers, but I don't think
it'd be fair to even ask you to have the answers, bro. Because I remember being in your shoes trying to come up with the answers, and then after reflection, after the season was over with, you know, I learned. I told myself, I said, hey, you know what? It is my responsibility to lead the team. It is the coach's responsibility to force me to reflect and point us in the right direction. So I'm telling you how I feel. You can take that as is, but I hope you don't feel like it's your responsibility to find the end all be all solution. You know, you take what you're being. Well, I mean, it's also your job to lead. You know, don't get me wrong, but I hope those who are listening understand what I'm trying to get at, because I can't even describe it perfectly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. You know, you know, it's hard, and like, you know, and I know at times you felt it. It's like you feel like you do have that responsibility. You know, so. But I think that regardless of the fact, you know, I do think out of anybody, if anybody was to be put in this situation, I do think it should be me. And I'm going to continue to lead these boys, you know, to the best of my ability. I think I'm the right person for the job, you know, to turn this thing around. And, you know what I'm saying? We're just going to keep on chipping away with it. Like my parents used to say this saying, man, I'm going to talk till I'm blue in the face. I'm going to talk till I'm blue in the face. I don't got no other, like, I don't have no more time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't have room to hold anything back. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Might as well talk till I'm blue in the face. I only got a couple more months of doing it as the leader of this football team. You know what I'm saying? And last year, like, lasted a lot of things.
I and the fans, I'm sure, all agree that you are the right person for the job, because the right person for the job says that. The right person for the job says that although things are bad, I want it to be bad on anybody else but me. And
right.
I noticed that's a quality of leadership in all great leaders. And I tried to be one of those guys, you know? So I'm going to lead the Texas game alone. I'd like to move on and talk a little bit more about some positive things. And the last thing I'll say in regards to the game was I'm sorry. I owe you an apology. I didn't get to stay until the end of the game because my ride and his family were all like kind of, you know, worked up about it. So Jay Hall had to leave after the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. I felt terrible. I was like, yo, like I gotta stay. And they were like, come on, Jay Hall. I'm like, bro, like y'all know I got the podcast. So maybe I need to go with a new family next year or something. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, guys, because they do listen. I love them very much. Anyways, left a little bit early, but yeah, that's a little bit of our Texas recap, guys. We had to do that one first because I don't know. I felt like I had to get the bandage ripped off. So let's start our podcast from the beginning. Brayden?
Jay?
Did you do anything outside of the game this weekend? Like, is there anything positive we can talk about?
Well, I guess I started looking for cars. I guess that's cool, you know. I mean, not, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I didn't really want to buy a car at this point. And I wasn't really looking to get another car. I wasn't looking or wanting to look for another car. But now that I'm in a situation I am where I kind of have to, it's like, well, the blessing out of the matter is I get a new car out of the, out of it. So I guess, hey, look, man, I'm like look at the positives type of guy, and that's the blessing out of all of it. I get to get a new car. So I guess that was cool. Only bad thing about that is that my car went to a collision repair shop in Shawnee, where Creed's from.
Yeah.
And that's like 45, 50 minutes away. And so like when they totaled it, I was told obviously I have to go get the stuff out of my car. Right. And so I go and I get one last look at my car, man. And, I'm like, man, like my baby, man, like, and I get my stuff and I took a picture, make it last longer. And I left, got all my stuff. I get home, a couple of days go by, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't get the garage opener out of that thing. So now I gotta go get another garage opener and sink it to my garage and all the other stuff, man. It's
That's
long
actually
gone
pretty
now,
funny.
so I can't
Yeah.
go back and get it. And I don't want to go back and get it. That was a trek, bro. I did that on a Tuesday before practice. Like,
Oh, it's never
yeah,
on the way there. It's always on the way back. That hurts.
man, it was tough. So, yeah, that was the only bad part about that. But, like I said, the blessing is I get a new car in it, so we'll just
Yeah. The blessing is
enjoy the process.
also that you're good, you're healthy.
Right. No
You know,
doubt.
God woke you up this morning.
Man, hey, the game didn't go how we wanted to go, but the only thing is that, man, my body, other than being kind of sore and bruised up and everything
Yeah.
like that, man, my body feels good. You know what I'm saying? There's no serious injuries. We're gonna
Yeah.
pray that it keeps being like that, and so God is good.
That is good, bro. That is good. After one of my Texas games, I think 2 years ago, I left that game and went to a hospital. So, um, don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but there are a lot of things in this world to be grateful for.
No
So,
doubt.
I am grateful right now for a friend who lives close by that is allowing me to use his Wi-Fi. So, for anybody or any one of you guys that are attentive to my backdrops, I'm currently sitting outside. Low key, my ankles are getting bit up by mosquitoes right now, but I'm sacrificing for the sake of the pod. For those watching on YouTube, I'm sure you see me swat at a couple things. Just rained here a few days ago, and I'm out here struggling, but I'll do anything for the prairie. All right, Alex. So throw a little mosquito bonus in the next check for J Hall, por favor. Oh, Alex with the new sound effects. I like it.
That's great.
But man, no, I will say, although the game wasn't good, I'm sorry. I personally had a great weekend. I don't want you to think I'm shoving this in your face or not, but I feel like my weekend was so good that I had to share it. So first off, um, I had my meeting or my I guess networking event you would call it with Morgan Stanley, and that went well. That went well for two reasons. One, well, really three. One, it put me in a new environment that I had never been a part of. It was pretty much like a little cocktail hour, and it was my first time showing up to an event like this outside of my school. Like they would have us show up at the job fairs and all these other stuff, but like these were like grown people, like specifically grown women too. May I throw that in there? And I was like, whoa, like this is a different scene, and it made me step up to the challenge. Like more experienced people use more experienced jargon. It actually challenges what I know in my field, because you start getting around people who actually know what you're talking about. And
Right.
I like that. It kind of reminded me of being back on the football field. When you're forced to play with those who are better than you naturally, well, those who are great naturally rise up to the occasion. And I
Right.
felt like I was in a different environment and got the opportunity to do that. Made a bunch of connections. That was the second reason why I enjoyed going. And the last one, it made me comfortable telling my story. I met a whole bunch of new people. Therefore, it forced me to say, hey, like I just graduated from OU. I was recently cut by the Giants. Football is still my priority. However, I have aspirations to run my own fund. I'm interested in investment banking, that type of deal, and pitch myself over and over. And the more I did that, the more confident I got, and I actually embraced being cut. Because sometimes I forget. Very few people get a chance to go to the NFL, let alone play pro sports. So
Very true.
I turned the pain of these past few weeks of not getting a call. I think some people forget that sometimes when they message me and see me at the games, they forget like, hey, like Jay Hall's not playing football, doing something that he loves. So, but anyways, it made me more comfortable telling my story, and I'm grateful for that because not many people get to do what I do. So the Morgan Stanley event was cool. OU threw this big welcome back party for basically all the colleges at the Omni Hotel. That was fun because for the first time I got a chance to actually talk to some of the donors, talk to the regents, talk to the higher ups, all the guys that pretty much my entire college career weren't allowed to be around us due to like donor rules and all that type of stuff. So pretty much I got to meet all the people that make our program go. And
Right.
it was fun because, they pretty much knew my entire story. We just never had a conversation. But I will say this about that event. I recognize that I was one of the only athletes there, at least young athletes, not unless there was somebody older who I just didn't recognize. And I felt like that was a huge problem. I was like, bro, like, there's no way I can be one of the only guys here.
Right.
This is where we need to be to make connections, especially guys like me, the guys like, players who've gone off to do great things, especially on the field. Why aren't we back in these meetings, like networking and just trying to get to know people? So, I feel like there's some type of separation between the athletes and the higher ups, which there is, so I was trying to talk to somebody. I'm like, yo, like, how can we build a relationship with the people who actually, who are above the head coach and the players? And then I got hit with all this political explanations and this and that. But the fair was a good time. These meetings were a good time. And I had a good weekend. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, lastly, before you move on, I'm 0-2 on in-person football games now.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah. My mom's like, should you go to I'm supposed to be going to the Kansas game next week. And she's like, should you go? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, all day I would just walk around like, wow. Wow.
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost doesn't even feel like that game happened, huh? Like, you're like, there's no way that was us.
Feels like a very, very, very bad nightmare.
You said you guys had a meeting earlier today. Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah, some of the offensive guys, got together, and I mean, it was just like we just, just fellowshipping and chopping it up a little bit, getting around each other. But yeah, just all of us kind of have the same feeling like, wow, like not how we saw the season going at all, and I, like I said on the last pod, it's very funny because, we're at where we currently sit 3-3, people are deeming it as a rebuild year. And the whole time I told you, like, we don't think of it as a rebuild year, and we have talent. We have plenty of talent to be, categorizing it as, a championship run. And we're just like, man, like that, this is not where we expect it to be. You know what I'm saying? We expect it to be 6-0 fully right now, so.
Yeah. Rebuild year makes it feel like the fans have given up, in my opinion.
And, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? They can give up, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is with them. But the thing about it is the people inside that building have not given up. And we're not going to, we're not going to give up. I don't, back down from nothing. I don't, take a knee to nobody. You know what I'm saying? So as long as I'm out there on the field, you know what I'm saying, ain't no quit in this team, and I'm gonna make sure of that. We're not, throwing away the season. There's still plenty of season. We're only the halfway point in the season. You know what I'm saying? There's still a long, a lot of season to play. And man, I just want to, enjoy the rest of my last season and, make great memories and, just leave a lasting legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want my legacy to come back, in some years and be, categorized as the rebuild year or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that for my legacy, So we're going, like I said, to do stuff, to get different results, you got to do stuff that you haven't done. So, we're going to continue to just keep on doing stuff and, just keep on chipping away at getting better, man. And that's, the most important thing is just stay together and just get better.
Yeah. It's crazy the perspective you have as you get older. I know someone, I can't remember what coach said this to me, but anyways, the saying is, freshmen want to suit up, sophomores want to start. No, sophomores want to play, juniors want to start, and seniors just want to win.
Yep.
And that doesn't apply for everyone, but the one that never fails is the seniors just want to win. Mm-hmm. And I know that's all you want. That's all we want for you. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season still. Before we wrap things up, I wrote this down this morning when I was ironing clothes, right? And just to give you the background on it, I was ironing clothes. I was in a rush to go to church, and I hadn't flipped my pants inside out. And the guy that I'm staying with, he came over. He was like, "Boy, what you doing? Just flip the pants inside out." And I was just like, "Oh, okay, I'm in a rush, whatever," right? And for some reason, I thought about this, and I thought about the game, right? I wrote down in my phone because I didn't want to forget. The difference between a man and a boy is doing the little things right. And I got that just from him telling me to flip my pants, and then I started thinking, just small things like cleaning up behind yourself, opening the door for your wife or your girl as you get older. Just doing the small things and just in life, working hard. And then when you get something, keep doing those little things, and from that, I thought the difference between good and great is making yourself personally responsible for ensuring those little things are done right on your own accord. That is the difference between a man and a boy, and that is the difference between good and great. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what's going to make the difference now. When things aren't going your way, how great can you be? How can you ensure that the little things are still done right for you to progress, not only as a player, but as a person? Let that sink in for a little bit. I tried to hit some motivational stuff there, so I don't know if that got to the people, but I had to see if that soaked in. Yeah, holla at your boy. Hey, I'll have a sign-up link soon for motivational speaking. You guys see me. I talk to kids all the time on social media, but that's neither here nor there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for this episode of the podcast. Brayden, do you have anything left for the people?
Yeah, man. The only thing I have is just, for all the people showing love and support, I haven't really been on social media, especially Twitter, the last couple of days.
Dangerous place right now.
Very, very, very dangerous place right now. It's like molten lava right now. But, I haven't been on that for good reason. But, I did get on there once, and I saw a lot of, support and, shout outs and, supportive DMs and, for all the support out there. I really appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you.
Thank you, Center Nation. Brayden, last thing I'll say to you is next year, we want you to be on the team, but however, sometime in the future, we got to go get a Cotton Bowl in together because those corn dogs, mimosas, turkey legs, and fried Oreos were bomb.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. But Sooner Nation, that is all we got. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Deuces.
Deuces.